Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we deliver mining insights and bullion sales in the form of physical delivery, offshore depositories, and private blockchain distributed ledger technology.
Joining us for a conversation is Michael Thompson, the CEO of Kesselrun Resources. Mr. Thompson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maurice.
Glad to have you on the program to share the opportunity before us in Kesselrun Resources. Before we delve into company specifics, Mr. Thompson, please introduce us to Kesselrun and the opportunity the company presents to the market.
Well, Maurice, we're focusing on our 100% owned Huronian project. It's a underexplored near-surface gold project. It's a host of a high-grade former producer. It's host to a high-grade historic resource. And it's located in northwestern Ontario, top-tier jurisdiction with excellent infrastructure and excellent geological potential.
Kesselrun has a number of virtues that provide the company a competitive advantage that we plan to cover today, such as multiple high-grade and bulk tonnage gold targets, limited exploration in a top-tier jurisdiction, a highly experienced management team and board of directors, and you're fully funded. Let's go on site. Mr. Thompson, take us to the northwest of Ontario, which is an emerging gold district known for numerous multi-million ounce development and advanced exploration projects, and introduce us to the company's flagship Huronian Gold Project.
Well, so northwestern Ontario is a prolific gold district. There's multiple high-grade and advanced exploration projects, multi-million ounce. We're working both of our projects, the Huronian and the Bluff Point are located in northwestern Ontario. Excellent infrastructure. It's a mining community. And as you said, we're fully funded and we're drilling right now on Huronian.
The location looks very compelling, but the Huronian project also has a very rich history. Before we move forward into more project specifics, take us to the genesis of the project and share the exploration history of the Huronian project.
Well, the Huronian project itself is a 4,600 hectare land package. We own it 100%. As I said, it's got that great historic resource that's just over 500,000 ounces. Past producer that produced high-grade gold, and we're adjacent to West Dome and now a company called Gold Shore's Moss Lake project that's got over 4 million ounces of gold on that. The exploration history of the project, it was actually the first discovered gold mine in northwestern Ontario in 1871. Commercial production in the 30s, and it sort of went through intermittent work in the 80s and 90s, and then the package was put together by Pele Gold in the mid-90s, just before the gold market busted in 97. So they never really gave it a good kick at the can, and the project sort of bounced back and forth between people optioning and that through the last gold boom in the early to mid 2000s. So we acquired the project in 2016. At the bottom of the market, I like buying projects when the bottom's in and we can buy low. And so we spent the last few years getting all the data compiled, doing some geological modeling and targeting. We mapped the entire project. We did overburden trenching and geophysics, and we've come up with a new structural interpretation of the Huronian zone. Through our work, we've discovered a couple new zones with grab samples. And then we raised a bit of money in the summer of last year and drilled a 3,000 meter program.
Now that we have some context, let's get some content, because exploration is a research and development exercise. I'm interested in learning how Kesselrun arrived at their thesis, which has given the company confidence that the upside is just before us and making additional discoveries and increasing shareholder value. Please walk us through the genetic model and then the exploration model.
So the project has two gold trends on it. The adjacent Moss Lake deposit is hosted in the Moss gold trend. That trend comes onto the southern part of our project. And then we have the Huronian gold trend, which is the host to the historic resource and to the historic producer. So the genetic model, essentially, in a simplified form, is the flexures in these shear zones are the key to focusing focusing the fluids and focusing the gold mineralization into economic concentrations. And so that is where our focus is on the southern part of the property. In the Moss Gold Trend, we have been working hard to try to find another flexure. We believe we have, and we look forward to testing that down the road. But right now we're focusing on that flexure in the Huronian Gold Trend where the historic resource and the historic mine is.
Speaking of that trend, there's a lot of blue sky potential before us. Can you discuss that a little further?
Absolutely. I mean, to not only the blue sky potential down in the south on the Moss Lake, the Moss Gold Trend, tremendous potential, and then tremendous potential on the Huronian Gold Trend. That zone strikes all the way to the north end of the property that is very underexplored. No drilling for kilometers and kilometers. So we're going to work hard working on that to develop new targets. But in the mine area, in the immediate mine area, there are numerous zones to be followed up on, potential to find new zones. We've been discovering new zones through our work and then over the last number of years, and in particular last year in the 2020 drilling. So we're quite excited about that.
Speaking of the 2020 drilling and 2021, let's find out about your proof of concept and walk us through the highlights, sir.
So the 2020 drilling, we've got three zones that host the historic resource: the McKellar, the Fisher, and the Fisher North Zone. And then the Huronian Zone itself does not host any of the historic resource, but has tremendous potential. The old timers mine, that's where they mined. That's more than likely where the best mineralization lies. And that Huronian mine trend, when it that orientation, we think there's multiple of these shear zones, and when they cross the more east-west Fisher North, and McKellar zones, you get fantastic blowouts, and that's where we're getting those big widths and high grade drill intercepts last year. So last year we tested that. We tested a couple other zones, the Fisher North and the McKellar, and we got the first drill holes into the Huronian mine since the 1930s. So we're quite excited about following up on the Huronian zone as well.
Now, you had a press release this week. Walk us through that press release, because it's pretty exciting.
So the drilling that we just put out, that news release, we were quite excited because we drilled the first holes into the actual mine area, in between the mined out stopes. We think there's tremendous potential to outline a remnant resource within that zone, and we wanted to see what the mineralization looked like, and get an idea of what it's doing so we could better target elsewhere down plunge and on strike on the Huronian zone. So we got quite a nice 4 meter zone grading about 16 grams, including 0.6 meters at 81 grams. Quite significant that there's still that much mineralization remaining in between stopes that were unmined.
Now, you were discussing the Fisher Zone previously. Is there room for expansion on the Fisher Zone?
There is. All the historic zones have only been outlined to about 75 meters depth historically, previous to Kesselrun working at. So we're working on extending the strike extents, which in the last news release we did. We extended it a total of about 150 meters on strike. And we're working hard to trace this high-grade chute that is known and that we've been working at further depth. So, tremendous strike extent potential, tremendous down dip potential.
I got a two-pronged question here for you, sir. Did you twin the historic resource, and how far along is Kesselrun in making the Huronian NI 43-101 compliant, and in what category?
So last year we did twin a few holes. We don't have access to any of the historic core. So we really wanted to see get our eyes on the mineralization. Part of that process of getting that historic resource area into NI 43-101 compliance is to prove that the historic results are true. So we did twin a few holes. More than likely, the category that we'll first cross will be inferred. When we're going to get that, the goal is the end of the year. It's an aggressive goal, but I'm an aggressive exploration geologist, so that's the way we roll.
I like it. Is there any active drilling being conducted on or in the plans for 2021?
There is. We're drilling right now. We started at the end of January, and we've got one rig on site. We're considering putting a second rig on site. There's just so many targets to drill. But to achieve our goal of getting that compliant resource by the end of the year, we need to be drilling aggressively.
Now, Kesselrun is not a one-trick pony. You have another very compelling project in your property bank. Sir, please introduce us to the Bluff Point project.
Sure. The Bluff Point project is actually the first project we acquired back in 2012. It's 100% owned as well. It's about 9,000 hectares, just under 9,000 hectares, about twice the size of the Huronian project. It's on strike from the Rainy River gold mine that New Gold has in production. It's a mine that produces about 230,000 ounces a year. And that Rainy River structural zone runs to the northeast, and that's where our project is, about 50 kilometers northeast of the mine. We're looking at a porphyry type gold deposit, a granite-hosted gold deposit, but has tremendous potential. There's multiple high-grade and bulk tonnage targets on the project.
And what can you share with us regarding the exploration history there?
Well, it's actually quite an interesting project. It was discovered by a prospector in the late 80s. Historically, most people didn't explore in northwestern Ontario in these type of rocks. And so this prospector making this discovery was quite significant, significant enough to attract Homestake Canada, predecessor company of Barrick Gold, and they worked it in the late 80s into the early 90s. At the time, it was a remote project. There was no road access. They had to float plane in onto the lake, and they did just preliminary work. They mapped it and did some hand trenching and such. So we acquired the project in 2012, and we mapped the entire project. We did overburden trenching, and we did one small drill program. We got some quite encouraging results. 20 meters at 1.7 grams on surface and channel sampling, and we got just under 22 meters at just under a gram in drilling. Through 2019, ground has been coming open. We've been acquiring ground through staking, and in the future we're looking at following up with some geophysics to prove up our targets and to follow up with drilling eventually.
And that answers somewhat my next question. Is there any activity going on right now at the Bluff Point?
There isn't. Right now we're mostly just doing sort of desktop studies. We're really trying to concentrate on Huronian and putting our full efforts on Huronian. But at some point in the near future, we will be doing some work to follow up and get it drill ready.
I'm of the opinion that the market cap has the potential for a significant upside, which bodes well for those joining us today. Why has the company been under speculators' radars?
Well, we were sort of in hibernation through the downturn. We really tried to keep the burn rate low, and we didn't want to raise money at low prices and continually do that just to keep the lights on. So, I was working with no salary. I was footing a lot of the bills for some of the work we wanted to do through the downturn, some of the acquisition costs for Huronian as an example. So we're sort of trying to reintroduce ourselves to the market essentially with this initial drill program. We're working hard to get the word out.
Let's discuss some important topics germane to the projects. Are your projects, and just want to reconfirm here, 100% owned, or do they have any earning options?
100% owned.
Love to hear that. We're going to get into some numbers later in this discussion, but from a capital expenditure standpoint, how is infrastructure on your projects?
Infrastructure is great. Northwestern Ontario, where both of our projects are, is there's two arms of the Trans-Canada Highway. There's many secondary highways. There's logging roads, major logging roads, and secondary and tertiary logging roads all through the projects. Huronian, as an example, is only about 15 kilometers south of the Trans-Canada. With hydro grid is being upgraded, it's just a great place to be exploring and eventually to be developing.
What is your relationship with the Indigenous people?
It's good. We've got good relationship on the local Indigenous communities in the areas of both projects.
All right. Are you fully permitted?
We're fully permitted on Huronian. The permit is good until December 2022. And Bluff Point is in the process of renewing their exploration permit. We're hopeful that it should be, and we have expectations it should be done in the near future.
Is the ultimate goal for Kesselrun to build a mine or arbitrage?
Well, I get asked that question a lot. I'm an exploration geologist, so that's what I do. But ultimately, whatever path takes that the project takes is best value for the shareholders. If we want to go down the road to build a mine because that's what makes sense, obviously we'll bring on management that their expertise is building mines. As I said, I'm an exploration geologist. My expertise is finding mines.
We've discussed the good. Let's address the bad. What can go wrong, and what are your action plans to mitigate that wrong?
Well, I mean, what can go wrong? The results can disappoint. That's what can go wrong. So far, so good. I mean, we have high expectations, and I think we're living up to those expectations so far. The market, the market can certainly turn on a dime. We know that it can turn on a dime to go up, and it can turn on a dime to go down. So that's really the risks in this kind of in the exploration world. What are our action plans to mitigate it? I mean, we can stop the exploration pretty quick because I run a consulting company that provides the services. We can start and stop as we see fit pretty quick.
Switching gears, let's discuss the people responsible for increasing shareholder value. Mr. Thompson, please introduce us to your board of directors and management team, and what skill sets do they bring to Kesselrun Resources?
So, as I said, myself, I'm the president and CEO and a director. I'm a partner at a consulting company based in Thunder Bay, near the projects, the major city near the projects. I'm a professional geologist with over 20 years experience, specializing in structural interpretation of gold deposits. And I've worked with Teck Resources, Placer Dome, and Goldcorp in the past. John DaCosta is the CFO. He's also a director. He runs a management consulting firm in Vancouver. He has over 25 years experience in corporate management and compliance. So, very experienced to fill the role of CFO. Callan Jeffs is a director. She's also a professional geologist with over 15 years experience, brings a lot to the table in advice and in targeting. She's the president and CEO of a company called Red Metal Resources down working in the coastal Cordillera in Chile, looking for copper gold. Niana Selena is a director. She's a chartered accountant and CFO of several public companies.
All right, let's get into some numbers, sir. Please provide us with the capital structure for Kesselrun Resources.
So Kesselrun, we're trading just under 20 cents, and we've got about 74 million shares outstanding, about 93 million fully diluted. Our market cap is in the $13 million range, in my opinion, quite undervalued. And we're fully cashed up. We started out after the $6 million raise with cash and cash equivalents. We were north of $6 million, and we're still just over $5 million left in the till after we literally just paid a bunch of bills. So, It's a fairly accurate number.
Well, you're not alone in your assessment of the share price. I have a Rolodex of names that I correspond with in the space, and they took a look at the company, and they shared the same sentiment as I do and as you do, that there's a potential upside here that the market has not recognized, and I hope we've conveyed that here thus far. How much cash and cash equivalents do you have?
So yeah, we're just over 5 million, about 5.2 million right now in the bank.
How much debt do you have?
Minor. There's still 100,000 on the books. That's to my consulting company that had been doing work through the downturn that we still haven't cleared up.
What is your burn rate?
With the drill program ongoing, we're looking at about $500,000 to $600,000 per month.
Who are the major shareholders?
Well, I'm a major shareholder. Management as a whole owns approximately 10%. 1832 Asset Management that runs the Dynamic and Scotia funds is a reporter, and because they're over 10%, so they're at about 14%. Other institutions that are combined, they're at about 18%, but individually they're still under the 10%, so they don't report.
And what is the float, sir?
74 million shares outstanding, 93 million fully diluted.
All right. Are there any redundant assets on the books we should know about?
Nope, none.
Are there any change of control fees? If yes, what is the compensation?
None.
And is management charging a consulting fee for any services? I believe you stated yes on that.
Yes, so the consulting company, the exploration consulting company, provides the services at industry standard rates, and then I charge a management fee to be president and CEO.
In closing, multi-layered question. What is the next unanswered question for Kesselrun Resources? When can we expect a response, and what determines success? Well,
I think the next unanswered question is proof of concept, which we're just starting to do with the drill program. We need to start showing continuity of mineralization and depth and strike extents, and we're working hard to get the story out to the market, and I think that's the biggest explanation of why we're undervalued.
What keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
The drill breaking down. There's lots of stuff that keeps me up at night. It's a risky business. But that's why we like it. So you worry about the results. You worry about the logistics. I worry about the safety of my guys at my team. I've got a great team that is working hard, and they're very smart and doing a great job. But in this pandemic and exploration can be a risky endeavor, so I worry about their safety.
Last question. What did I forget to ask?
I don't think you forgot to ask anything. I think we've covered everything. The big one is the market. We really need to work hard getting the story out to the market. That's the big one for us. We need to tell this great story to more people.
And I want to foot stomp again for all those that are joining us. It's just not my opinion, nor is it Mr. Thompson's. I have a Rolodex of names, and the sentiment is exactly the same. How is the market cap this low based on the value proposition that is before us? Mr. Thompson, for someone listening that wants to learn more about Kesselrun, please share the contact details.
You can contact us at information@kesselrunresources.com. You can contact me at michaelt@kesselrunresources.com. Toll-free number 866-416-7941.
Give us that number one more time, sir.
1-866-416-7941.
Mr. Thompson, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and Kesselrun Resources the absolute best, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.